My name's Dr. Story. I like to give people realistic advice based on my experience. I just finished with the patient. I'm going to give you a real life example. And this is something where I really truly believe that giving people realistic advice based on experience is more important than bro science. So I had a patient who his highest level of weight was almost 500 pounds. He's down now below 300 pounds, which is great. But what he was feeling was extreme tightness in his, what he called his hip flexors or his psoas. And he was constantly trying to stretch his hip flexors and psoas muscle. And every time he did it, he felt worse. That's a clue. So you have to listen to patients and you have to listen to your body. So he says to me, my hip flexors are real tight and I'm always stretching them and I always feel worse afterwards. And I told him, well, then you need to not do that. And he's like, but everyone says to do it. And this is a prime example of stop following what everybody says and start listening to the body, or maybe get a great chiropractor that can actually assist you in figuring this stuff out. Here's the reason why his psoas muscles are so tight. Number one, they're actually not tight, rather they're protective. So they are contracting constantly to protect him. If you weighed 500 pounds, all the muscles of your lower back and pelvis would be tightening up, trying their best to hold your spine together because of the forces that are upon it. Even at 300 pounds or even just 270, 250, that's a significant weight that your muscles have to hold you up and have to hold your posture up. The muscles are going to be tight, but they're not necessarily tight, meaning shortened, that needs to be stretched. They're actually tight, meaning they're under a constant state of contraction. And by trying to stretch them, very often you're not relieving them. What you're actually doing is reducing that muscular stability that those muscles are trying to do to the spine. And that's why his back actually hurt worse. So ironically, and I know this is not popular, it's not politically correct, all the bro science people are going to disagree with it, but the reality is clearly stretching his hip flexors caused him more pain. It should be very simple to say, well, then that's not going to work for you. It doesn't matter what anybody's theories are. What matters is what works on that individual patient. So for this particular patient, when we tested him, his psoas muscles were actually of normal length. It's just they were contracting constantly to try to stabilize his back. So in this particular case, he doesn't need to stretch. What he needs is greater strength of those muscles in order to help stabilize, and then they would actually end up feeling better. If you thought this video was interesting, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. You can follow me on Instagram, and if you have any questions, you can ask in the comment section below.